Bitcoin ETF confirmed. Well, sort of, kind of. And it might be coming to an institutional investor near you. Now, this is not the ETF. It's not really an ETF, to be honest with you. We'll talk about that. It's not the ETF that we deserve, but gosh darn it, it might be the ETF that we need. Now, frustrations with Ripple's continual dumping of the tokens on XRP hodlers, as we've covered on the show for months. Those frustrations seem to be reaching a boiling point as the community threatens a hard fork, really just a couple people, but the community threatens a hard fork of XRP. No, we never miss a chance to take a stab at XRP on this channel. We'll break it all down in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Let's go. All right. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live here in the studio. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019, your daily source for market updates, news, and sentiment for traders. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. I'm Justin Wise, your host, lead analyst, and senior mentor around these parts. And I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. Make sure to support the show by subscribing, hitting the bell, sharing, even with people you don't like, and engaging in that live chat. Hit the thumbs up button. It's mandatory from now on. Today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin is brought to you by Revival Tech Repair. If you guys want a sweet computer like this, if you guys want some website front-end design, or if you just want to talk with a team that can fix anything electronic underneath the sun, make sure to head over to revivaltechrepair.com or stop by the local office in Rockford, Illinois. And with that said, guys, we're going to start off today. We've still got some X42 to give away. Get this right here. So we're going to start off today's show as we normally do by giving away some crypto to a lucky winner. I want to thank last month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, X42 Protocol. Make sure to go check them out at x42.tech. And I promise I'll stop talking as fast, but the coffee is flowing, the charts are moving. We've got so much to talk about. Let's go. This button. I tell you, man, that always gets me. Coming live to you from outer space. Oh, man, yeah. Right where Bitcoin's price seems to be. Now, we've got the YouTube random comment picker pulled up here. We're going to load some comments and 13 potential winners. Randomly pick a winner. Young Snurks. Young Snackerks. Young Snacker. I'm going to say Young Snacker. What's up, man? I'm a 12-year-old crypto enthusiast, and I occasionally rap about crypto, and I enjoy your show. You've earned my subscription. Well, what's up, man? Young Snacker. Come on the show, man. I'll let you throw down some beats on that good old ding dong, but dingy, 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 bing bong. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much, man. Highly appreciated. Join the Discord, discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. Hit me up, and I will tip you some crypto. It's painless. It's easy to do. All your friends are doing it. And all your friends seem to be buying Bitcoin because price is up there. So let's break it down in today's market analysis. We're going to subdivide today. I think this is going to be easier because I want to communicate. So not only with all of you watching, and all of you are fantastic, but also my students, because there are varying degrees of comfort with PTP. And I just want to kind of I'm sitting up. So I just want to there we go. Maybe I'll just bring myself down. There we go. Down, 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 down. Ooh, woo. How you guys doing today? How can holders of XRP fork it? Ripple is the only one that can fork it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, we're going to find out. I don't actually know. I don't know the technical specifications of XRP. We're just going to talk about the proposed hard fork that the community is threatening. Hey, Justin, can you give me a tutorial on when you'd go into fiat and how to spot the confirmation that this run is about to go down? Thanks. That is a long... Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Can you give me a tutorial on when you're bearish or bullish? I think Young Johnny 3 fan, what's up, man? I think that the best solution for you. So I don't think I can answer that question comprehensively in a very short period of time. It is fairly simple with PTP, but you need to do the testing with your indicators. So basically, you're talking about when to be bullish or bearish on Bitcoin. You know, that is the age-old question. When do I buy Bitcoin and when do I sell Bitcoin? I think that we're overall in a bullish market trend. I think that we're bullish on the weekly time frame. I think that we're bullish overall on the monthly time frame, but I think that we've put in some concerning elements of price. So my honest recommendation to you is join the Discord. There's some guys in there who would be happy to help you out, and continue to watch the show, because that's basically what I do every single day, is give my lengthy daily tutorial on how I trade and how people at home can trade along as well. There's a bunch of trading crypto 101s, but it's going to come down to defining metrics for your strategy, figuring out exactly how you want to trade that strategy, determining objective situations that have to occur for you to do something. And by doing something, I mean hitting the green button or the red button. And then you just follow that strategy no matter what. You follow it into losing trades, you follow it into winning trades, because you have tested it to know that overall it is a profitable strategy. Now, if you are looking at what you should do long term, so if your question is less trading related and more, I just kind of want to know overall when Bitcoin's bullish, then probably the best thing for you to do is just buy and hold Bitcoin. Because overall, Bitcoin's price will go up, and overall, the United States dollar will go down. Not directly, because the United States dollar has no intrinsic value. It is measured against other things, so one could argue and speculate and postulate, but let's drive. I don't even know what you mean by that, Kendi. Kendi, sometimes you come in here and you say the most amazing, wonderful, beautiful things, and then sometimes I'm just like, man, like, is this dude drinking? Kind of like Andrew. Andrew comes in here sometimes and he says some of the most fantastic, amazing things, and then sometimes he's just like, yeah, man, just like crashed a Ferrari, just crashed my Ferrari, and my neighbor's walking around in stiletto heels, and I'm like, man, dude, day drinking. All right, anyways, guys, moving on. Amped up today, guys. The cold brew coffee is good. The Bitcoin charts are good. You know, here's the thing, like, even when I take losses on trades, like, so for example, like if I take a short trade on Bitcoin and I get stopped out, or if I just like make a wrong call, which happens, I'm human, I'm not perfect, guys, geez. But you know, when Bitcoin's price like moves up, I'm always like, I have more money than I had yesterday. Great. Yeah, awesome, sweet. So it's like that, that nice little, you know, bisymmetric balance, right? Bisymmetric balance, right? I'm not talking gender identity. I would never think to assume your gender. All right, moving on. We got so much to talk about today. Where do I want to start? As I was saying, we're going to divide today's analysis into PTP, right? We're going to divide today's analysis, and I think we're going to do this every single day. So we're going to talk about PTP. We're going to talk about multiple time frames for PTP and basically what PTP would be signaling right now. And then in that same kind of thing, we'll talk about our other proprietary indicators and what they're signaling and how they've performed in the past. So what we should do based off that. And then we're going to switch over into like classical analysis mode. And I'll probably make a little, I'll probably make a little funny infographic, or I'll say some dumb stuff on my thing, we'll go to the hard tuner and I'll be like, classical analysis for those who want to get wrecked. Yeah. So something like that. As opposed to magical internet money. And we're bringing you the news because we've got multiple monitors and we make money trading. TikTok. Man, you're not following us on TikTok, dude? Man, we post the best Vines. Vine even a thing? I don't think Vine's a thing anymore. Okay. So this is a little zoomed out. So let's go to the daily. Now, here's the thing, man. We got a PTP long signal yesterday on the daily. I do have the 21 exponential moving average pulled up here as the daily baseline. So let's switch that to the 13. Okay. So we did get a confirmed long signal daily yesterday. So the best possible way to have played that, I think, with at least my mentality and my headspace, and we'll kind of look at some classical stuff here as to why, as I said yesterday, overall, like, not to am I sitting underneath a spaceship? Yes, I am. Yes, coming to you from the orbit. I'm not overall excited about this long movement. Like, it looks great. We've got this news coming out. But we've just seen this happen in this structure for a while. And this is going to like be more in the classical analysis. Basically, what is everybody else looking at, right? Because they don't have our edge in the market. They don't trade the way that we do, because our way is much more simple. It's just much simpler. It's objective. It's database. Did X happen? Did X line cross Y line? Yes, you go long. It's that simple. And you've tested that to know that when X line crosses Y line, you make money at the end of the year. But anyways, in the strategy that I teach everybody, and this was brought to my attention by a whole bunch of people, and I know a whole bunch of guys in the group did take this trade. They took the long trade on BTC USD. Now, I think the best way to go about doing this would have been to go long on spot, because basically you have to kind of take one step back and look at a little bit of fundamentals for this. You don't have to, but I think it helps in this particular case. As I've said, we've seen this happen a whole bunch, and again, if we kind of, I want to keep us out of the classical mode for a little bit. If we look at what price has done, continual lower highs, continual lower highs, continual lower highs, and we're trading in this meme descending triangle that everybody's looking at, and you're basically going to say, okay, this time's going to be different though. This time when we rally off the bottom, it's going to be a higher high. We're going for 16,000 right now. We're going for all-time highs right now, and we're just going to shoot off like a skyrocket, right? We've got this ETF confirmed. It's not really an ETF, but I digress. And let's go. I don't think that we've seen any validation of that, right? So, again, it's almost impossible to keep some classical analysis out of this, because let's be frank here, we haven't broken any significant lines. We don't see really any significant volume that would indicate the end of a trend or the beginning of a trend. And we can confirm that by going over to data.bitcoinerd.org. And although the volume is decent, it's not really trend generating volume. It's not really that breakout end of trend, beginning of trend volume that we like to see. That really fundamental, because we let's go back to that data.bitcoinerd.org. And we looked at this not too long ago. We pulled up the 30-day. Let's actually look at the last 6 months. We'll pull up the 30-day. And we talked about these big, huge spikes of volume and the differences between them. The differences between these days and what they generated, and every single one of those days was the beginning and end of a trend. Whereas these little baby spikes just led to your overall fluctuations in the market. All right. Digi, what's going on, man? Justin is sitting under a spaceship, and I am the one drinking. Yes. David Gelfin, what's up, man? Hard to catch the live. The internet is blocked here using some data, man. Hey, just break through, man. This is a free world, but thank you so much. I highly appreciate you. Utilizing your time at work to watch the stream. Highly appreciate it, man. Make sure to hit the like button on behalf of your company. Okay. So let's just keep it. Let's get back into PTP because PTP is very simple. So this isn't actually the trade that I took. I didn't take this trade. I did not take the PTP long signal. I've been bringing classical analysis into what I do on the stream, and I think that when you do that, I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. It's a little bit difficult to the danger of it, and this is why I was very explicit with this. Like, hey guys, realize that this is generally not the way that I trade. I trade PTP to avoid situations where I have to overthink about price, because PTP is objective, it's very simple, and it works. It statistically works. But listen, human only human, guys. I found that the more that I've done a little bit of this classical analysis on stream, it's tried to creep its way into the way that I trade. And so yesterday I could not help myself but looking at some key levels. Again, when we'll go over to the when we look at our levels here, God, oh man, that's a lot of lines. But we talked about that order block at 10,462. That was actually the order block that helped confirm our trade to the downside. That's not actually where we entered. We got in at 10,200 on the way back down to the downside. Took some profit down here around the lows, and ended up being pushed out of that trade with about half of our position back up at the break-even stop loss. That, again, that 10,217 was my entry on ByBit. So got pushed out of that position, and that's not the trade that I took. And again, it's just impossible to avoid, I think, the contamination of one's strategy with the classical analysis when you're attempting to trade PTP. So that's why you just have to hammer down, develop that edge, develop that strategy, and trade that robotically like a robot. Because otherwise, you're going to get yourself into a situation where you're back to and again, that's the problem of looking at that other stuff. It's bringing back the anxiety. It's bringing back the wishes and fishes. It's bringing back the subjectivity. It's bringing back the levels. It's bringing back this. But again, that stuff, when it works really well, it works really well. So we're going to analyze both of those. Yeah, it's Ector security coin. Or it's I think, how do you pronounce that? It's Sutter. Stop it, Wendy. Bitcoin millionaire, what's going on, man? Oxymoron coin. We see what. Yeah, we see you, man. We see you. It's just impossible not to talk about, right? And again, we'll actually get through this. So when I'm done teaching PTP, I'm going to do the next course, which focuses on, which does focus on the style of trading that I've been teaching on stream, right? I have my own particular take, my own particular way that I've always traded things like support and resistance. In fact, I have webinars on this right now in the premium webinar series, which goes over objective ways to determine support and resistance. It goes over particular strategies of trading support and resistance. And so the majority of that next course is going to focus around order blocks and, these are kind of memes, but these do play into the analysis, things like 3-drive patterns and things like that. So we'll talk about that, because typically when you find that indicator that lets you know, hey, we're exiting a trend and we're moving into a ranging environment, adopting that strategy temporarily can help you do well in this type of market, where price is not trending very strongly, where it is kind of pinned and contracting, where price is overall contracting, and we're seeing in the macro whether we're having distribution or whether we're going to have reaccumulation, as we've talked about, referencing Wyckoff accumulation and distribution theory. But again, it's not really theory. It's just very simple to see. Like, price will mark up, price will go into bullish expansion, and then you will reach a point where sellers are attempting to sell and buyers are attempting to buy, and you really don't know until after the fact whether it was reaccumulation, i.e. more buyers than sellers stepped in and bought back up the excess supply, and that drives price up, or whether you did not have enough buyers to step in and purchase excess supply, meaning there's excess supply in relation to demand that is currently available in the market, and so price will go down. But I digress. Let's look at the market. So anyways, long signal on PTP. Let's go look at some objective metrics on that. And implicit in that trade is going to be the breakout trade. Is that you are expecting Bitcoin to do something different in this pattern, and we'll look at that when we go look at classical analysis and look at the support and resistance levels. All right, so here we are. Rodrigo pulled open. We had that long initiation signal yesterday on the daily, and we'll go track that down. So that would have been putting us at 10,957. Let's go ahead and put that on the chart. Man, got a lot of levels here to talk about. 10,957. 11,527 and 12,097. So let's use some different colored lines to denote those. So we'll just kind of click here, and we will do, what color do we want to make this, guys? Let's do purple. Oh, I can't see that. Let's make it dark purple. Let's make it like not so dark purple. There we go. Let's make it kind of like, what is that? Cerulean, something like that. Okay. Let's see here. 10,957. 10,957. Okay. And it's hiding somewhere. I mean, I'm sure it's somewhere. Let's zoom this up. Okay, yeah, sure. It's sitting right there. And let's drop another line on here. And that's going to be 11,527. There we go. And 12,097. Okay. ATR value of 570. Therefore, our stop loss is going to be at 95.31 for the purposes of position sizing. All right, so that's pretty congruent with other lines that I have on the chart for other reasons. So we'll make this line pink. And what did we say? 9,531. All right, so there is... that's not right. Oh, of course, yeah, no, that's totally fine. That is exactly what we want. Okay, cool. So we'll get rid of Quadrigo. We'll get rid of Rodrigo. And again, I think the safest way to still play this would have potentially been to go long on the underlying to start buying back into Bitcoin. Obviously, it's easy to say that in hindsight. But still, I think that the best way that one could have played, and again, not really the way that I played, because you have to understand that I'm still 1x short. I'm still hedged. I do want to see something significant happen. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I think probably the safest way to have played that would have been to start scaling into a Bitcoin spot position, meanwhile staying hedged, right? So basically still not in a position where we're making money if price continues to go up, in a position where you're not losing money, right? And again, it's the dollar value that I'm concerned with, not the Bitcoin value, as I think is the correct thing, because there's opportunities to get more Bitcoin. There's anyways, moving on. And the justification behind that's very simple. If this is the movement where we are going to break out of this contraction, and I want to get rid of these lines because they're making my head hurt. If we get rid of this contraction and we actually do end up breaking out of this pattern and going to make, kind of new highs and shift the momentum around on the weekly. Again, the weekly closing below that baseline was concerning for me, which we did do. And that's the first time that we've done that. And of course, we're looking at the ByBit chart. So let's go over and look at the Coinbase chart. Go over and look at the Coinbase chart. We did do that, and we haven't done that since we have not done that. We have not closed back below the baseline. Since back over here, this is the last time we closed below the baseline, and this was September of 2018. And did we close the weekly back above the baseline? No, we did not. We just continued to consolidate, and then dump. In fact, if we go back to the 24th, which was the day right before. Whoa! Hey, calm down now. Which would be right here. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We get that WADA signal right here. Get that WADA signal right there where we are above the explosion level. All right. So that's on the day prior before the big movement to the downside. That's the one that confirms the movement to the downside. However, and again, that's on the daily time frame. So the weekly kind of setting us up nice to know as far as how to position. So I placed a lot of import on that. And so things like things like the monthly closing consecutively lower than the previous month, those are things that concern me. So I'm still, and again, this is, kind of something that you just have to be willing to find those hills that you're willing to die on. And again, I'm not so stubborn of a trader that I won't flip my position again. As I've said many times, I'm really happy to be proven wrong on this. Let's see here. Yes. Silver is up $1 and Justin is under a spaceship. Just normal day. What type of trader is a quantitative firm most likely to employ or fund? Most likely somebody who is trading a PTP style. You guys. Getting up in the morning and running. All that stuff helps with weight. Heck, anything. It's difficult, man. Weight's definitely something I've struggled with in my life. And it's only discipline that's allowed me to not have to worry about it. Now we can kind of bring this down just a little bit. Yeah. Let's keep that spaceship nice and strong. Elax Gixmo says, hey, what's up, my dude? Do you use a logarithmic or a linear scale or both? And how do you change it on TradingView? I don't think that logarithmic scales should be used for trading. I think that people who generally use logarithmic scales are poisoning the well, or what's the word I'm looking for? They're burying the lead. Nope, that's not the right logical fallacy. They are, they don't understand what logarithmic scales are for, in my opinion. For trading, I use a linear scale. And the way that you change it is down here in the bottom of the screen, which you can't see. So let's do this. There we go. It's going to be right here in the bottom of the screen. Boom. And it's this button that says logarithmic. We're going to click that, and then we'll see things happen. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, from like a PTP perspective, because the numbers are the numbers are the numbers. That doesn't change the number, it just changes the visualization of the chart. But when you are attempting to interpret things like long-term scale trends, that's the only reason that you should be using a logarithmic chart. And I don't think that that's very congruent to what we tend to do on this channel. All right. Justin, serious now. Is there an exchange where you can buy actual BSV on, unlike Robinhood, that will just give you back the dollar value? So you're talking about Bitcoin Cash, Craig Wright's vision. Okay. Yeah. There are, of course, multiple markets. So let's go to coinmarketcap.com. And we'll look for BSV. You can go buy it on Coinbenny, MXC, KuCoin, CoinX, DragonX, OakX, DigiFinex, Bit4X, IDAM, IDAX, Hit BTC, The Devil, Coinbit, Bit4X, Wabi. I'd probably go get it on Wabi. CoinTiger, BW.com, Upbit, whew, man. Wabi Korea, BitMEX. You can get it on Poloniex. Gate.io. I mean, you get it all these places, man. You can get it on Bitfinex. CoinSquare. You can get it on Bittrex, apparently, for Ethereum. Oh, you can get it on Bittrex for whatever you want. Yeah, I get it on Bittrex. Scratch that. Poloniex recommendation. Let's go over to Bittrex. Let's see what DuckDuckGo has to say. Should I use a logarithmic scale for trading? Let's try Investopedia. Logarithmic price scale, also referred to as log, represents price spacing on the vertical or y-axis dependent on the percentage change in the underlying asset's price. This is usually the default chart style. Linear represents price on the y-axis using equidistant spacing using between the designated prices. Linear charts display absolute values. Let's see here. Logarithmic price scales are better than linear price scales at showing less severe price increases or decreases. They can help you visualize how far the price must move or reach to buy or sell a target. However, if prices are close together, logarithmic price scales may render congested and hard to read. As an example, so I'd read this. So important. The difference between linear and logarithmic price scales is important to understand when reading charts, but there are many other forms of TA that you can use to identify and capitalize on price trends. No shit. Thanks, Investopedia. So I'll give you guys just my initial answer. There's probably like a mathematically correct way, but I think that logarithmic charts are more difficult to utilize for trading purposes. And I think they don't curve fit, because that's not the phenomenon that we're talking about here. But I don't know if this makes sense to you guys, but they seem to imply your bias more. They seem to, because they make values closer together. They're not using absolute values, as that so succinctly put it out, as according to a linear, which does use absolute values and makes the whole thing uniform. I think that it's very easy to look at something like this I think it's very something. I think it's very easy to look at this chart and put things in a little bit more perspective. And I think that if you look at this chart, it's much harder to put things in perspective, right? Like this just naturally carries with it a very fundamental bullish bias, right? And of course, I have a very fundamental bullish bias on Bitcoin, but I don't need the chart kind of influencing my thoughts, right? So this to me is much more reasonable. This is much more reasonable. And this is, again, this is something that's, if you don't zoom out like this, then it's not a big deal. Generally, if you're doing anything on the daily or you're just observing like recent price, because as you can see, like, you know, if we switch between linear and logarithmic here, we don't really change a whole lot, right? But I think that the linear obviously here makes the price swings a little bit easier to see and a little bit easier to interpret, right? So let's get rid of those lines. All I'm on is Coinbase Pro. So all you have to do... Oh, yeah, sure. I'll give you the link to CoinMarketCap. But all you need to do is go over to this website. Just go to Bittrex.com. You can create an account on there, and then you're going to send some Bitcoin from your Coinbase Pro account to Bittrex, buy some BSV, and then withdraw it somewhere. Possibly. More likely. Good luck. I'm just kidding, man. No problem, man. Okay. So, PTB long signal, we talked about those targets back on the ByBit chart. Okay. And you would, for position sizing purposes, put your stop loss here. You've got a couple early exits, obviously. In this particular situation, Mink's going below the zero line. You've got your stop loss down there, and you've got your 3 take profits ahead of you. Now, we'll get into price action, and we'll talk about the setup that I've got. And it's something that I might live to regret, but you know. Three commas charges you to execute trades, but you can short on it. I don't know about that, my good friend. You can... is there a specific wallet you need for BSV as opposed to BTC? Yes, you need a different wallet. BTC and BSV are different coins, so you need a BSV wallet. And I honestly don't know, but we can find out. I feel dirty right now. Okay, so coinmarketcap.com, and we're going to go to a Bitcoin SV, and we're going to go to their website, bitcoinsv.io. And download 0.2.1. And I'm gonna guess this is it. Here's the SHA 256 sum for the checksum. I'm gonna assume it's this one right here. So I mean, this is just amazing. They got a GitHub? Well, here's your AutoGen SH. So this is all easy to do in Linux, but I don't know if I see a Windows wallet on here. Because that tar GZ, that's... Well, that's not. Yeah, man, I don't think I see a Windows wallet on here. I think you need to have the well, I mean, you can do this. You can just download a sandbox and or a virtual machine and install Linux on there, the latest stable release. And then run this. Look in releases. Thank you, man. Mm-hmm. This one right here, bud. Source code zip. Yeah, so basically that same file, only 4 megabits. All right. So there you have it. Not extremely user-friendly, but pretty not too complicated standard fare for the old cryptocurrencyers. Oh, by the way, guys, new goal. New goal of the channel, new personal life goal is to join Vladimir's club, which is going to be having 1% of the total supply, which is 2,100 Bitcoin. Current cost of that is going to be $22 million, guys. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Excuse me. Okay, so, hey, going back to the charts. It's 12:39. We got so much more to talk about. All right, so now that we've talked about PTP setup, and again, based on that, I don't think... so an entry on that's not invalid. You have to wait till this evening's close. We're still below the qualifying line. We're getting a little bit of a pullback, so you're not buying on the very top of this wick. And that's going to be my... That's the backup. That's the backup trade setup that I have. All right, that's the backup trade setup. Now, we're gonna hold my beer because this is what's going to be my primary setup. Now, we're on the ByBit chart, so I feel pretty good with this. Okay, yes. All right, so we're gonna ignore those cerulean. That's a pretty word. We're gonna ignore those cerulean lines for just a moment, and we're gonna look at a couple of things here. So let's get rid of volume because that's just taking up space on the chart. It's taking up real estate. So we're gonna look at price action. We're gonna look at order blocks, right? All right, so daily order block. Now I want to talk about this is the meme descending triangle. Yes, we're gonna. So this is the meme. This is the right. Yeah. No, I got that, Digi. I was trying to. Like I said, they didn't have a Windows wallet. I'm pretty sure that Ken's not going to be. Well, potentially. I don't know. I don't want to assume your Linux familiarity. You might be a, hardcore. Do I hold any XRP? No. Negative, sir. That's a big 10 negative. Anyways, so here's the meme, descending triangle or wedge or whatever you want to call it. And yes, I know the difference because I used to trade this nonsense myself. But anyways, I do like that it is giving us a little bit of confluence here with our order block, right? So let's talk about this order block. We got that order block coming in from 10,882 to 10,968. That is coming right there, squarely in, right there at that edge, right? That nice little edge of that descending wedge, that upper resistance downtrend that we talked about, or that we're currently talking about, depending on where you are watching us from the time sphere. Let's get rid of the baseline here, of course, for a little bit, because we're descending into the realm of madness right now, descending in the realm of madness. Now, that's more properly a 4-hour order block or a 2-hour order block, but you can see it as well, dynamic resistance on the daily. In this particular situation, the only time where we broke above it, was that was this kind of last thrust up to retest this level of resistance. Okay, so this is pretty much what the rest of the market's looking at. This is what they are focused on. This is what they're watching. So what movements could we predict from our regular retail traders based off of this? Well, they're going to do basically what I'm going to do for a different reason. They're going to try and sell 11,000, right? They're going to try and sell 11,000. And if they close above that level, they're going to consider that a breakout. Of course, I need to see the breakout with the volume because, again, I haven't seen the volume yet come in. But I would say that breaking that level on some good volume would be propelling us very swiftly, very nicely toward our target. So I would still use the exact same targets that we generated. What's nice about that is that that's take profit 1. So that is squarely, so that entry zone of 10,882 to 10,968. Our first take profit from yesterday's long signal is 10,957. So that's sitting right there. So that's a beautiful, nice, clean setup, right? So, the way to play that without cognitive dissonance is to take your profit at take profit 1 and look for a bearish reaction. What is a bearish reaction? A bearish reaction would be a wick or a close inside of that level, and then a close outside of that level on the 2 or the 4 hour time frame. 2 or the 4 hour time frame. So you need to go into that level on a wick or on a close, and then you need to come back down from that level on a wick or on a close, and then you can market enter. Otherwise, the way to do it kind of naked is just to set your limit sell orders scaled from 10,882 to 10,968. Same ATR 1.5. And the ATR value on the daily here on the ByBit chart is, just a second, it's 500 something. It is, we're going to use yesterday's because that is closed, 570, right? So 570. So 570 times 1.5. Alexis, yeah, if you'd like to help out the channel, I appreciate the support. There is a link down there in the description for ByBit, or you can just point your browser over to bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. So, Dennis, great question. So if classical technical analysis doesn't hold a statistical edge, why is it covered in this channel? So I never said or claimed that it does not hold a statistical edge. My claim is that most people who trade classical analysis are going to not make money. Not because it doesn't hold an edge, but because their execution is going to be subjective, right? And that's why when I use the language, I'm using non-unfalsifiable language. Instead of being vague and saying, well, we might hit this level or reject from this level or break above, I'm using very specific time frames and very specific price targets, right? Very specific price targets. And I think that is the proper way. I think that's the proper way to trade, because that's the way that any serious trader is going to trade. If you talk to any serious trader, they're going to say that, they're going to deal in the realm of specific price targets that, nobody makes money with like, well, I might sell at this level or I might buy at this level. Like, no, I need a plan. I need a game plan. That's what I require out of myself. And that's what I would require out of any analyst. So anyways, I want to get down kind of to the lower time frames. But again, that's the daily setup, selling that level. Now we'll go down to the order block that we did put some import on, the 2 or 4 hour order block, 10,462 to 10,389. Now, that is more properly now a bullish breaker. Now, that's been a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little haphazard, but again, that was the level that rejected price all throughout that level. We did track that order block back all the way back to its creation and genesis back over here. We did track that all the way back to its genesis and creation all the way over here. And it's been a significant level. So 10,462, 10,389. So, and I posted all this to the members this morning. So setup 2 would be taking that sell at 10,882 to 10,968. Again, if you're in the long position, you'd be taking take profit 1 at that level, and then you'd be looking for that bearish reaction. If you get that bearish reaction, what do I mean by bearish reaction? A wick or a close into the level followed by a close outside of that level below on the 2 or 4 hour time frame. Then you'd be dumping your long position. You'd be going short. In the first place, you'd be looking to take some profit. That is 10,462 to 10,389. And again, kind of the same level, because that is the bullish breaker. So that is either going to be your buyback zone if you're getting into the long, and again, same thing. You're looking for a bullish reaction from that level to flip and go long. So 10,462 to 10,389. A wick or a close down into that level, followed by a close above 10,462 on the 2 or 4 hour time frame is going to be your signal to dump the short and go long. Now, again, this is not convoluted. That's very objective, very clean price action trading. Going to keep you very busy on the intraday time frame. A lot of opportunity there for profit. So you gotta choose now. But if you don't get that reaction, if you instead close below 10,389, you would hold the short open, and then you would look to scale out closer down there toward the $9,800 level to the $9,500 level, right with your Quadriga ATR targets from your buy Enzo, potentially, assuming that you had bought in at 10,462. Right. Will Google use Chainlink as a bridge? No. Sounds so gangsta when I talk about crypto. Yeah. I don't know how to sound gangster, man. Okay, so, but thank you very much, man. I try, brother. Let's see here. That's about all we got for this magical internet money on the daily time frame. Talked about multiple setups there. Talked about selling resistance. We talked about buying the order block, and we talked about what to look for if those blocks fail. And again, that's my personal setup and strategy, right? My personal setup and strategy right now is to sell resistance unless we close back above it, in which case I'm going to kick myself just a little bit, but not too much. And then I'm just going to go into the long. I'm going to take the long position. And fully move over. I'll be a little late on the long trade, but again, that'll be a significant movement for me. And I need to see, that decisive close. I need to see that decisive close. But, and then the backup plan is, again, targeting that 10,462, 10,389. That same order block that got us in, that's now a breaker. So as I did not take the long PTP setup, kind of the alternative is to take that as well and then get into that same metrics as the PTP trade. I'll be using a slightly different ATR value based off of that because volatility will have changed a little bit. And then I'll just be right back on schedule, right back on track. And that makes me feel pretty comfortable. And then I can get back to work this week making some new videos for the course. Which is exactly what I want to do. And I'm doing a lot of optimization. So working pretty closely with my dev and really, really excited about that, man, because got some great strategies coming out, some great PTP strategies coming out that I've been really working on for a long time. And I'm really excited to just see them kind of take off and really, just automate a lot of this, which is really fantastic, man. Because that's the purpose. That's the point. You have a trading strategy that is objective and you follow it. You just stick to the rules. Just stick to the rules. So honestly, and let's just be frank about this. The people who are probably the most comfortable right now are the people who just took the long signal as PTP told them to do. They're the most comfortable. They're in profit. So we'll see. We'll see. So I think it's important to look at this because this is literally what everybody else is looking at. And so this level right here is going to be exciting when and if we get up there. 10,882 to 10,968. Everybody's going to try and sell that level. Everybody's going to try and buy that level. Because people are going to try and sell resistance and they're trying to get positioned for the next big leg down. And they're going to try and buy that level looking for the breakout. And again, my bias is still on the big move down. My bias is still on the big move down. And again, the biggest thing for me is that close below the baseline on the weekly time frame. Let's go to those levels. The close below the baseline on the weekly time frame and that second consecutive monthly close. All right. So here's that weekly close below the baseline. And we have not had that entire bullish trend. That's significant movement to me. And that second monthly close. And I just want to point out, look at these big wicks to the upside on these monthly time frames. These big wicks to the upside on the monthly time frame. Wendy says, I love how the weekly order block from the 2017 top lines up exactly with our blow off top locally at 13.5. Let's go to Coinbase. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these levels matter, man. These levels matter. So I would not be surprised to see this month close looking exactly like these. But as I said previously, if we do end up closing this month, and September is typically a very weak month, but if we do end up closing this month higher than the previous monthly close, that's a shift in market structure. That's a shift in market structure. Am I Jewish? I am not. I'm sure I might have some Jewish blood in me. I don't know, I'm a mutt. I did not, Tom S. I'm actually literally flat right now at this point in time. I am in no position on Bitcoin. I had a Monero USD short trade that I had open for a long time. Ended up closing that as we kind of pulled back to take profit 2. We hit take profit 1, take profit 2 on that, pulled back up to take profit 1. I went ahead and took the profit on that, made a good sum of money on that as well. And I made a good sum of money on my original Bitcoin short because we did it take profit 1, so I was out half, and then got out back at my break-even price on my short. Yes. I'm 1/1024th Ashkenazi Jew. I don't know. I'm mostly German. Or so I've been told. And I speak German, so I wouldn't be surprised if... So I wouldn't be surprised if I were to do a DNA test. If it comes back like, you are not German at all. You are 76% Slavic. Okay. 20% Spanish. What? Cool, man. I would be cool with that. Right, so I want to go down to some lower time frames and talk about that as well. Obviously, kind of the interesting thing right now is in that realm, going back to PTP and looking at our other proprietary indicators, it's going to be the 4-hour sell signal. It's going to be the 4-hour PTP sell signal. Now, I want to point out a few things. We have one sell signal from time transformation followed by a huge massive pump, and then price does move in our favor, right? So let's actually go back in time and see if that would have hit our stop loss. Indubitably. Indubitably. So that one right there, very good signal over here, and very good signal over here. And then bad signal right here. So Gotcha. So we'll talk about this in just a second, man. So we will talk about this in just a second because we're going to go to break here in just a few minutes. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Ripple's hard fork. We're going to talk about the kind of, sort of, maybe just a little bit type thing, like ETF type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Digi, have a good one, man. Good to see you, brother. And we're going to break down the Forex markets because there's some stuff happening over there. Yes. Yes, there is. My activity feed kind of going crazy. Anyways, before we go to break, we're going to talk about ByBit. Yo, what's up, guys? Didn't see you over there. Have you been there the whole time? Hey, guys, as a trader, I am constantly asked what metrics to evaluate when I am selecting an exchange to trade on. And I generally say the same thing. I look for security, ease of use, and customer service. All right. So security, we've talked about this whole bunch. Cryptocurrency, you are taking risk when you deposit funds onto an exchange. So what is the attractiveness of depositing funds onto an exchange that allow you access to margin as opposed to a spot exchange, right? Well, first off, let's be real about this. You're going to make a lot more money or lose a lot more money, depending on how good of a trader you are, if you're trading on an exchange that has access to leverage. There's more liquidity, there's more volume, there's more opportunity, as opposed to trading on a spot exchange where you are just, plus, the risk is that you have to deposit all of your funds to fully leverage your position on a spot exchange, whereas on a margin exchange, you can deposit a fraction of your funds and use margin to trade the correct position size for your actual capital that you are holding safely in cold storage. And this is how I trade on ByBit. This is how I have always traded on futures. Don't deposit my entire stack on any exchange. I prefer to hold my stack in cold storage, not only my investment, but my trading capital. And if I want to move into dollars, I will just artificially do that on the leveraged platform with margin. That way I can keep my funds safe and secure. Now, so margin platform, superior to spot exchange because you do not have to actually deposit all of your funds, i.e. reducing counterparty risk. Now, Coinbase is a slight exception to this. Again, Coinbase does ensure the USD value of your deposit, but still don't want to lose your Bitcoin, and cold storage is not that complicated. You just get one of these handy dandy devices called a Ledger Nano S, guys. It's pretty simple. Ease of use. I like platforms that are simple to use, but let me do some advanced stuff too. ByBit's pretty good at that. And customer service. And this is why I use ByBit, because they have amazing customer service. So if you guys would like to trade on the exchange that I trade on, like to give ByBit a try, you can use the link down in the description below or go to bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. If you use that link, they will give you up to $60 in your margin account to trade with at no risk to your personal capital. You do have to make a deposit to get the full $60. I believe they give you $20 absolutely for free, though, so you can test their platform. Right? You can't withdraw that $20. It's not like it's not as boom, bam, done, simple as that. But if you make some money, you can withdraw that. So anyways, guys, bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Ripple's hard forking. We're going to talk about the ETF kind of sort of maybe thing, but it's not what we need. But that's not what we deserve, but it's definitely what we need. And we're going to take your questions, and we're going to talk about just so much more. So don't go anywhere, guys. There's a button here. Oh, here's the button. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. That's right, we're here, we're alive, we're near to a turning point in Bitcoin's price that is, hey guys, make sure if you haven't already to hit that subscribe button and the bells, because notifications don't seem to work if you don't click the bell. Leave a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm gods. If you guys are just joining us for the second hour, we're going to talk about the imminent hard fork on Ripple and the Bitcoin ETF, the news that has come out this morning. And we're going to talk about, is this really bullish? Is this really bearish? And why we think so. So, with that in mind, let's head back to the charts. Kinda? Charts? Yeah. Yo, what's up? Bam! Got to put that Motorhead poster back up. Oh, yeah, Motorhead. All right, good. No sleep till Brooklyn, guys. So, how are you guys doing? What did I miss? Anything? Did I miss anything? Hey, I want to thank GJDSO and Alex and Gorilla. Thanks so much for following over there on Twitch. Welcome to the community, guys. So, let's pause the music. Pause the music. And I want to talk about some things here. And the first thing that I want to talk about is... let's talk about XRP first. Let's talk about XRP. Boom. XR community threatening a fork over Ripple's constant sales. So, Crypto Bitlord, shout out to you, my good friend, the same guy who started the change.org petition for Ripple to stop dumping XRP, is now threatening a community takeover, proposing to the XR community that they implement a hard fork of the cryptocurrency, or so they call it stuff. So that XRP hodlers don't have to deal with the founders dumping anymore. Stop the dumping! Just stop! Addressing the CEO and CTO of Ripple, Crypto Bitlord said, Brad, Joel, you guys have 60 days to stop dumping XRP or we will stage a community takeover. If it's a decentralized network, like you say, we have the power to do it. Now, no, I never miss an opportunity to take a stab at ye old XRP on this channel, but it does seem that the frustration with the company from the community has reached a boiling point. Do I think an XRP hard fork would be successful? Absolutely not. I think these things are all adding up to be nails in the coffin for XRP. Now, interesting about this is that the question is, can they even hard fork XRP? I think that they're going to find out that the system is not as decentralized that they seem to think it is. I think they're going to actually be unsuccessful if they were to attempt to do this. I think this is overall pretty silly. I think this is overall pretty silly and just an idea of I hear XRP stole McDonald's slogans, billions and billions. Woo, yes, billions and billions served, billions and billions of investors defrauded. Now, according to Ripple CEO, the sale of XRP is majority going to institutional investors. And it is going to institutional investors so that they can build out their payment bridge networks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So is it possible, I've talked about this before, is it possible that XRP will succeed? So let's talk facts. Let's talk fundamentals here. As I've said many, many times, who is the losing party in all of this? Well, let's go back. What is Ripple's use case? It's going to be a remittance currency, right? It's going to be used by banks for interbank settlement, right? It's going to be used by, remittance networks for basically cross-border payment solutions. It's a cross-border payment solution. Nowhere in that, and again, I've yet to hear a convincing argument for why any of that means that this asset will appreciate in value, right? I don't see any... I don't see that. I don't see the appreciation of value because, if you're going to take the argument, because it seems to me that the people who say that the argument or who argue that XRP is valuable as an investment are the same people that say that people won't buy Bitcoin because it's not a stable store of value, right? So the idea here is that banks want a non-volatile form of cross-border payments, which is difficult to do because you're talking about, then you'd have to peg something, right? And what are we going to peg it to? I mean, the entire point is to peg it to something that's non-dollars. So it seems that there's some cognitive dissonance there. It also seems that the people who lose here are people who buy and hold XRP tokens as an investment, right? I don't think that they're going to have a happy ending to this story. I've said this for a very long time. The losing party seems to be jealous Bitcoin holders who wish people wouldn't go anywhere but Bitcoin. Well, guilty. So, but no, I mean, literally, there's things out there that seem to be that seem to have some fundamental value. I'm an altcoin minimalist, so I've talked about being bullish on some altcoins. XRP is not one of them. I don't like the way that they've represented the company. I don't like the way that they've treated their investors. And when I say investors, we have to understand that there's a lot of capital that flows into the Ripple company that is not coming from retail purchase of the token, and so I think that they end up losing in this thing. And I think that actually Ripple will be successful, and people will still be selling their coins at a loss that they bought up at $2. I think that the majority of why XRP pumped is that it got caught up in the big hype of 2017 when everybody was buying every when everybody was buying every altcoin because they thought it was going to do what Bitcoin did. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. Just calls them like I sees them, man. Mike Rothy, thanks so much for joining us over there on YouTube, my good friend. Is it just random? Is it just random when the notifications tend to work appropriately like that, or is it just I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Damn. XRP has always been sketchy. Their community should have considered forking back in 2017, but they're not that bright. Listen, here, I'll say this. I know that there's a lot of people who have XRP, and I know that they do have a really big community, right? So I'll just say this to you guys. Open arms. Just come in. Come to Bitcoin. All is forgiven. We will teach you. On the heels of this, Ripple's chief technology officer, David Schwartz, claims that he is concerned about the decentralization, or lack thereof, of XRP. In a new tweet storm, he addressed the overall decentralization, or lack thereof, but I repeat myself, of the ZERP ledger, saying he's working with Ripple's development arm, Xspring, sounds like Arab Springs, to explore further ways to boost the network's independence. And what's interesting about this is that he's concerned about the overall wealth distribution of XRP. He said he is concerned about the issue, but has to be careful about what he says. Ripple owns more than half of the total supply of XRP and has recently come under fire for its routine over-the-counter sales of the digital asset to crypto exchanges and institutional participants. He said, I am concerned about XRP's distribution. I just have to be more careful about what I say for somewhat obvious reasons. And when I can't talk freely and honestly about something, I generally prefer not to say very much at all. Right. Yes. So, concerned about XRP's decentralization or lack thereof, but can't talk openly about it. Interesting. Almost like your investors and like your boss is maybe saying, shh. Let's go to the next story of the day, guys, which is going to be from the Wall Street Journal. VanEck, SolidX to offer limited version of Bitcoin exchange traded fund. This is coming directly from the WSJ, bastion of credibility in this world. So VanEck, which is behind the SolidX proposed ETF, have confirmed a Bitcoin ETF. Now, sort of. Now, according to Jake Chervinsky, which if you guys aren't following Jake Chervinsky, make sure you go follow this guy on Twitter. Jake Chervinsky says, and quote, this is misleading. The VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust is not an ETF. It looks exactly like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which was launched almost 6 years ago. Calling this a limited ETF is a cute marketing strategy, but that's about it. Calling it a full ETF is just wrong. So, and he is right about this. So let's talk about what this thing actually is. Let's go back over to the Wall Street Journal article. So this is going to operate almost exactly like the Grayscale Investment Trust or GBDC. This is not the ETF that we deserve. Really, it's not an ETF whatsoever, but it just might be what we need. It might goddamn well be the ETF that we need. So the way that this is being done is VanEck is using an SEC exemption to expedite getting their product to market, which is going to be this trust. And that's Rule 144A of the SEC. Now, this means that using this rule allows them to offer their product to the market, but not directly to retail investors. This makes that the Rule 144A allows them to bypass certain regulation, but it only allows them to sell their product to select investors, such as hedge funds and banks. Now, what's interesting about this is this might let pension fund managers buy into the ETF. And this actually might be better for Bitcoin than the availability to retail investors. Now, again, kind of the argument here is that, well, GBDC has been around for a whole while. And you could argue that GBDC has been around for 6 years, but it hasn't, had a significant effect on price. It's been more of a kind of a behind the scenes thing. And people have asked me all the time, like, do you think GBDC is a good leading indicator of Bitcoin's price? And I don't really think that it is. But because I think that every moment in the market is unique, and I think that any economy is a very complex, whirling miasma of multiple data points. And looking at industry-specific data points might not be the best thing to look at when predicting long-term price. That's why it's better to just determine objective metrics that derive a statistical edge through back testing and forward testing, and then just grind that to the bone. But this might be better for Bitcoin than the availability to retail investors. So this is the bullish scenario I'm going to paint. And then I've kind of already laid out the who gives a fuck scenario because GBDC has been around for a whole long time. This is identical to GBDC. So what, right? Now, we have to realize that institutional money managers just have access to more capital than retail investors. And when they make allocations into their investments, they typically do not make those allocations with the same trepidation that retail investors or traders will. Now, pension funds in particular have been scaling back how much money they're willing to loan to the United States government and other Wall Street derivatives, so not other, but also Wall Street derivatives for years now, after just being like slammed and pilfered and pillaged by, well, not only Wall Street, but also the United States government. They're basically out of money to loan. But similar to many fund managers, they're desperately searching for a safe store of value to weather an economic recession. Everybody is really concerned about a pending economic recession. Now, I've said that I don't think this is going to happen right now. I think that it's going to take a few years, especially with the decisions of the Fed right now. But this is potentially the most bullish scenario for Bitcoin long term, breaking down the regulatory barriers that currently dissuade funds from investing in Bitcoin as a hedge against the global markets. Now, again, this all comes back again to the idea that, well, this is not a regular ETF. Institutional investors have obviously already been allocating into Bitcoin, especially at the lows and currently as we speak. So what? It's just another market for them to get into when they've already had the market of Grayscale. Now, to add some credence to add some balancing to that too. I mean, the other option here is that, but more is better, right? So, the more that pension fund managers and the more that institutional investors see that there's more options out there, see that there are more products that are being marketed to them and then eventually, obviously, to retail investors, it makes them feel more confident in making an allocation into this market, right? So I will say that. Now, Bitcoin on Google Trends. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Bitcoin on Google Trends has gone full on parabolic, right? So amidst the Bitcoin price rise, something strange is happening in the land of Denmark. Excuse me, Google Trends. The term BTC has exploded recently and is currently at an all-time high in searches seemingly out of nowhere. So here we go. We just see, here is Bitcoin's price. Here is Google Trends, which is this bottom blue line. And we can just see it go, boop, hey. So the spike occurred sometime on August 30th, and it's been steadily oscillating upwards ever since. Now, according to this article, the search interest for BTC has exceeded, over this last spike, anything seen in the past 5 years. But strangely enough, the term Bitcoin has not seen an increase in searches at all. So leading the conclusion to be that this is most likely manipulated, especially since the majority of the search engine volume is coming from Romania. Moreover, the strange rises and falls over just a 24-hour period are quite unnatural. I do not think that everybody just woke up one day on August the 30th and are like, BTC, BTC, BTC. They would be searching for things like, I've looked at the Google Trends, especially as a YouTube content creator. So I'm always looking at like the tags and what is most commonly searched for on YouTube. And it's not BTC. It is how to buy Bitcoin or trading Bitcoin on Robinhood or, is Donald Trump actually transgender? Like just different random stuff that you're going to see searched for on YouTube. And so optimizing the video to get as many eyeballs on it as possible, which, by the way, hitting the like button really helps with that. So make sure don't forget to do that. Isn't GBTC available to retail investors now? So a members-only type of investment instrument may very well be attractive to the big money makers. Exclusivity always improves attraction, it seems. Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree, dude. So exclusivity breeds attraction. So, trying to think of like, I was just going to be like, so the next 10 people that hit the like button are going to get invited into the exclusive. I don't know. Oh, man. Arthur Hayes has not been seen since the CFTC started wagging their finger at him. Now, Arthur. So, although this is kind of exciting and pretty neat to see, it looks like this is mostly being manipulated. By all estimates. That's pretty weird. So having said that, let me know if you guys got any questions on the topics that we covered today. Of course, there'll be links in the description. You guys can also go to the link, which will take you to the show notes page, which will cover the links to all the articles that we talked about today. Back over to Bitcoin's price on the 4-hour time frame, and we're really not doing a whole bunch. We had a nice little sharp spike stab up last 4-hour close, currently flirting with putting in a reversal signal, a reversal sell signal on time transformation, as we can see. Time transformation right here, and we actually do have a little bit, let's actually double check here. We do actually have a little bit of bearish divergence, regular bearish divergence on ye old time transformation, as we can see after about 7 or 10 purple dots of death. We've kind of talked about these purple dots of death as well if you guys go back to some old analysis. And of course, we are at the 4 level on time transformation, which is the holy mother of God, really overbought level. All right, let's talk about Ethereum USD. We can go look at Ethereum, yes. You guys are awesome, man. Let's go look at crypto bubbles. Give her a little refresh. And, overall bullish day in the market, man. Overall bullish day in the market. We've got altcoins creeping up there a little bit, kind of catching up with Bitcoin a little bit as Bitcoin kind of makes its move. Nothing really dramatic. We've got some like random shit coins here that have pumped a little bit. But let's look at our, Neo up 1%. Ethereum Classic up another percent. LSK. Monero. Komodo. Go Komodo. Lincoln Win down. Apple iPhone Blitz is a good case in point. More phones sold because of the manufactured scarcity. Oh no, will I be able to get one? Look at that line versus I'll just get one whenever. Yeah, it's true, man. I still think a precious metal backed crypto has its window in what's coming. Yeah, true, man. Looked at Carrot Coin, didn't bite. Is that the one? I got like a email. Let's bring the music back. But I got an email. It was so terrible, man. It was like low budget. Wonder if it was Carrot Coin. Join now, the most profitable and exciting ICO of 2018. Okay. They still have the link for the token sale up here. So their roadmap ended in May 2019 with Take Carrot Coin into full production. And what have we seen since then? Okay. Nothing? Oh, fucking shock, man. Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing, dude. I think these guys, these are the guys who emailed me and asked me if I'd interview them on the show. Okay. Guess what, man? Enron was seen on a whole lot more news networks. You mean this site, Live Love? Ooh, yeah. .81% spread on 100 Bitcoins. We got a tight market. There's still a lot of profit potential there, though. I'm not gonna lie. Some insights. Speaking of some, Bitask Sum has turned negative. I've talked about counter trading this, though. I've got the Fisher Transform and an average true range on my list of the next trading crypto 101 videos. All right, so let's kind of take a gander here. Let's talk about this a little bit. I'll work out my thoughts though. Just want to put this into perspective, right? So this is the last 5 years of Bitcoin's price, looking at Bitcoin trading volume. You know, in 2017, the majority of the volume went to OTC desks. That, which I don't think these two are mutually exclusive, that and the fact that that plus the concept that when price was really low, just the quantity of coins increased, right? So that's pretty much the argument, right? They're saying, well, it's not that volume changed. This is volume and quantity of coin. And price kind of tremendously spiked up in 2017. But I think that the real key point here is that a lot of accumulation took place in 2016. A lot of accumulation took place in 2016. And those coins are not going to move for quite a while. So let's see what kind of data we can get over the last 6 months. The metric that I used was 100,000. So this was last week when we looked at this. And let's look at it by the day. Actually, I want to look at it by the hour. Change my mind. $8.28, $8.25, $8.06, $8.10. I'd already plotted these out. Yeah, 806 top. There we go. Interesting. Yeah, sorry. 120 million. 806, 810, 825, and 828. So 806, local top. 825. Yep, that's an exception. There it is. Fuck. $8.28. And what I talked about, so basically what I'm trying to do here is point out days that have abnormal volume lead to reversals of trends or the beginning of trends. All right. And in general, days that don't are not really indicative of anything. How do I rate the Ichimoku Cloud on a scale of 1 to 10? And how do I use it as an exit or entry indicator? Well, I mean, you can use it. You can use it how... Hello. That was odd. Mark Chang, what's up, man? Please don't mention the word scalar on Andrew. He's sensitive today. XRP hard fork imminent. What is this? Just clickbait. No question mark. No, I went over that. The community is threatening a hard fork. It's probably not going to happen because I don't think they're going to find that they're going to be able to hard fork it in the first place. They don't have enough validators. They're going to find that Ripple is going to own most of the validators. And is the Bitcoin ETF confirmed? So VanEck SolidX is launching a trust, which is identical to GBTC. So short answer, no. Long answer, no. I have got a very, very well detailed. I have got a very detailed video, by the way, Chowdhury, on Ichimoku. It's in the Trading Crypto 101 section. I don't use Ichimoku in my PTP system as any sort of indicator, but there are great components in there. What I really like about the Ichimoku is that it can be used as a comprehensive strategy all in of itself, i.e. tell you what the trend is. It can give you a baseline. It can give you a entry. It can give you an exit. You can trade just with Ichimoku, and I lay that out. In fact, one of our analysts trades just off Ichimoku. Slightly modified version, but, you know. I've heard of stock twits. I do not use stock twits. Let's see here. And so we go BTC. I have chilled here a little bit. And you just wait and... Anyways, so you just sit here and I guess look for setups from other people. James Glenn. Actually, I've got a video on that too, buddy. If you go look at the cryptocurrently section in YouTube, there's a video of me and Gabriel. Actually, I believe I've had him on the show twice. There's a video of me interviewing Gabriel, who is the CEO of X42. So, imagine Ethereum without the scaling issues, built from the ground up, and the ability to do feeless transactions. They are currently implementing masternodes right now. But yeah, I think that video is going to be a lot more comprehensive, and I think that's going to be a good place to definitely start. Was that Warren Buffett talking smack on Twitter? No, it's just somebody using his avatar. So, let's see here. Daily long setup. 4 hours, kind of pretty much coming to the end of the exhaustion. We got the Wadatar explosion initiation right here. Got multiple long signals throughout this area. Really, the good one was the continuation right here on this candle right here. 4 hour signal within the qualifying line, above the baseline. Initiation on Wadatar itself. Boom, boom, boom. 2 hour gave you it a little bit, a little bit earlier, but again, pretty nasty chop here on the 2 hour. That's why I kind of like the 4 hour setup on this was a lot cleaner, because right when WADA got above the dead zone for the first couple of times, you really had your last fake out here. That was the last fake out. Whereas the 2 hour just faked you out a whole bunch more. Yeah. But again, turning green. But yeah, this is kind of a do nothing area for sure. Double sell signal on time transformation here on the 4 hour. Pretty exhausted. Coming down to the daily. We already talked about those levels. Cape Town Brown says, my BitMEX deposit is taking more than 4 hours now, still pending. Familiar case that I know. I mean, it can depend on the blockchain. It can depend on the mempool. It can depend on where you sent the funds from that might be taking longer. Sometimes, I mean, listen, if you did everything right, and you double checked your addresses, and I mean, you just kind of got to be patient, man. It sucks, though. I know what you're talking about. Has anyone seen any live stream of the top in 2017? Not that I'm aware of. We were doing videos, but not live streams back then. No problem, man. Well, guys, the 10-minute, I bet if we look at the 30-second, it starts to get really exciting. Look at that 30-second chart, man. We've got the 1,439-minute chart right here. This is a hack PTP chart, by the way. Guys trading the daily time frame. Didn't think of that, did ya? Okay, so let's go over my game plan again here real quick. As I said, PTP makes this pretty simple. Daily long signal yesterday. We talked about those take profit targets, but we will review them again. Where are they? Over on the ByBit chart? Yeah, over on the ByBit chart. 10.957. 11.527, 12.097. And again, what's the word I'm looking for? Implicit in that setup is the fundamental idea that price is going to break. And again, PTP is structured in such a way that you don't need to take that into consideration. But just letting people know. Hey, thanks, Eisenberg. I appreciate it. How is time transformation different from Fisher transform? It is different in many, many ways. Time transformation plots divergence, spots reversals, tells you when to go long, tells you when to go short, provides objective signals, and is a little bit more customizable and has a slightly different smoothing algorithm than the regular Fisher transform. It's kind of like it's like the Fisher transform. If you gave it an injection of whatever made Wolverine go all Wolverine. Yeah, so that, and then we've kind of got the analysis that everybody and their mom is looking at. You've got the meme descending triangle wedge, whatever you want to call it, with resistance that has some confluence with our order block between that 10.882 and 10.968 level. Again, that is the setup that I'm doing. I'm willing to be wrong on it because, but you know, every once in a while, especially since I've been having some good months, sometimes you got to take a little bit of initiative, and yes. So, and I don't want that to confuse anybody. So PTP makes things pretty simple, pretty clear. It's guided us correctly. That's what allowed us to catch that short trade previously, the one that we talked about all the way over here, gave us the nice clear signals. And now we are going in the opposite direction. But again, you know, kind of the same thing. One of the reasons why I'm willing to take that risk is because of the weekly closing below, the daily making these consecutive lower highs, everything twisting and tightening up. And again, not really paying a whole lot of attention to these meme things. It just happens to be a coincidence that this line intersects. And again, you could like argue, oh, I didn't draw it correctly or blah, 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 because that's the problem with drawing lines, because it's right line, wrong line. We don't play that game. But it's the order block. It's the daily order block. It's actually a 4-hour order block. 4-hour and 2-hour order block right here. And again, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. And this will be the 5th test. So 4-hour and 2-hour block coming in at 10,462, which is actually now a bullish breaker. So it's not a block. So that's the buyback zone. And again, we talked about looking for a reaction from these levels before doing anything. So that's pretty clear. So I think the best way to go about doing this is those are the two levels where I'm going to enter onto, or I'm going to enter into. How do I get an enterprise in my office? Like a truck? Like a rental car? I suppose you just tell them to step on the gas, you know? Tell them to come in on the west side of the building and... Oh, you're talking about the enterprise. You got to know some people, man. Yeah. Sorry, dude. I'll beam you up, homie. I got you, bro. Scott says, way more affordable than you might think. Anyways, guys. They are not based on the volume profile. They're based on order blocks. Order block right here. Order block right here. So be pretty careful, man. I mean, look, overall, if I were to subjectively look at this, I'm still playing the move to the downside, right? But again, you got to be careful around that $11,000 area, man, because there's going to be so much activity there. There is so much incentive to buy that level. There's so much incentive to sell that level. Everybody is looking at that same area on the chart, and we have to talk about it. That's why we're looking at things. That's why we're looking at the classical analysis that everybody is looking at. That's why we're juxtaposing that with what PTP is saying, because we have to be aware of what we're stepping into here. And we've also talked about this. We've talked about this, that when you have an area on the chart that is likely to be heavily manipulated, sometimes the best scenario is to just stay out of the market at that point in time, right? Now, I don't think there's a whole lot of I answered that question at length, Scott, already. Light Yagami says, just got backed, you mean? What is the XRP news? Community is threatening a hard fork to stop the dumping. And meanwhile, David Schwartz, CTO, says he is concerned about the decentralization or lack thereof of XRP. There'll be a timestamp up there pretty soon. Pretty much just as soon as we finish the video. Would I suggest a podcast for trading? This one breaking Bitcoin.money. Chat with traders with Aaron Fifield is really good. I just want to buy luxury watches like Justin. It was a gift, man. Scott doesn't know it, but he bought me this watch. Thanks for giving me that bank account information. Just kidding. Japman, will Bitcoin continue on this downward wedge and then break to the downside? So although I disagree with that justification of what's going to happen, that is my thoughts based on the prior weekly close. So weekly PTP overriding daily PTP, and the second subsequent monthly close. So monthly price structure domineering over weekly price structure, domineering over daily PTP. Crypto Caveman, what's up? Why are you guys coming out of the woodwork in the last 5 minutes? Farbod, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. I always wonder, you know, because I always like to give attention to the people who subscribe. That's why we do the thing when it pops up, so I can say like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the community. Got any questions? Water coolers over there. But I ever wonder if like shy people are like, damn it, I hate that I subscribe to this guy. A name popped up. He knows who I am. Thank you, man. It's not a green screen, though. I mean, I'm coming live from space, dude. You'll see when I beam up here in just a second. Had to pick up my car from the dealership. I'm sorry. Have a like. Thank you very much, man. Highly appreciate the like. Just don't write my name down in the book. That's all I ask. Get to go out that way. Like I'm cool to die literally anyway except a heart attack. I just don't want to go out that way, man. We've got about an hour and 3 minutes until the next 4-hour close. And we have got an hour and 3 minutes until the next 2-hour close. So 2-hour time frame. If we were taking long swings in the 2-hour time frame, let's take a gander right here. So we have our continuation long right here. Put us in for this trade. And do we get out? Yeah, we do. We do get out right here. And then we're allowed to get back in here. And we're allowed to get back in. And out here. And a little bit of a fake out right here actually had you go long here. And so you would be exiting that intraday 2-hour long right now on the close of this daily candle. If MINX does cross and close below this zero line. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, again, we already talked about the 4-hour entry. Not only the continuation long coming off of MINX, but also the bullish initiation on WADA tar itself with the rising explosion level and the WADA column above the explosion level and the dead zone. Again, we've talked about that as a separate initiator all in of its own because it does give, I mean, just fantastic signals, right? Now, it's nothing you want to trade blindly. You want to backtest it and develop your own little bit of specific nuance for it. But I mean, that's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous right there. So the WADA, so let's say you took it on the WADA initiation. Well, WADA hasn't told you to get out yet. You'd get out when WADA prints a column below the explosion level. Let's say you were taking the combined PTP trade. Then on the 4-hour, you would have been out right here. So you'd have missed the last leg of the pump, but everything's fine. Now, if you're using time transformation, let's see here. Time transformation would have put you in the long right here. Time transformation would have put you in the long right here. And would have had you out here. And then you are allowed to re-enter. You get a little bit of chop right here. Take a couple small dings, but end up getting back in here for sure. Here for sure is when we get the nice crossover. Yeah, and we're above the baseline. So right here, and then you ride this all the way up, and you scale a little bit out here, and you would be exiting fully on the close of this candle on the sell signal. All right, potentially even thinking about taking the reversal trade. Reversion to the mean trade, at least back to the 10,462, 1039. And I talked about that. Taking the reversal trade down, looking for a bullish reaction. Entering long, if we get that bullish reaction, what's a bullish reaction? Wick down, close in 2, followed by a close back above on the same time frame that you're looking at. So if you're doing this on the 2 hour, you're looking at the 2 hour. If you're doing this on the 4 hour, you're doing this on the 4 hour. Andy Ham, what's up, man? Got some tool that shows hidden orders? I don't, man. I wish I did. Just this one. Bogdanov. Yeah, hey, where are you taking price? Okay. So you're going to drop price to 10,462. And then we're going to hit 12,000. Wick out all the shorts. And then we're going to go to 9,700. Gotcha. Bet. Yep. Yeah, for the motherland. Yep. Later. Okay, guys. It's 2 o'clock. Time to go. Hey! You, there. Just remember, it is scientifically proven that hitting that thumbs up button makes you 90% more attracted to the opposite or the same sex, depending on your preference. The YouTube algorithm knows. But anyways, guys, after that brief foray of medical science, my name is Justin Wise. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. We're going to have the timestamps and everything down in the description when the show's over, so make sure to let us know how you feel in the comments section, especially if you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or especially death threats. Leave them down there, and I will try to respond to you within the next 48 hours, potentially with my attorney if it is a death threat. But don't let that scare you off. I'm trying to smoke out all the snakes out of the weeds. Now, if you guys are new to trading, an experienced trader looking to sharpen your skills, or just looking for a good community to hang out and learn, check out premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. The link is in the description down below if you guys would like to learn our rules and use our tools and learn how we do what we do, which is consistently generate profit on a monthly and weekly basis. Let's see here. That's about it. We'll be back here. Same bat time. Same crypto station. Same crypto network. Tomorrow at noon on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. You guys have been awesome. Also, just remember, awesome computer, sponsored by RevivalTechRepair.com. Make sure to check them out for, oh, there goes the Bitcoin. That's not a good sign. That's not a good omen. Make sure to check them out for all your computer repair related needs. RevivalTechRepair.com, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all back here tomorrow or in the Discord, where we're going to keep the conversation going for the rest of time. Trade safely, guys.